to do a quick live to do a quick update on what's going on in the media in regards to the Diddy trial, what's being talked about. Yes, Mia is to be unnamed. People really should not even be giving details about anything about her. So in the comments, we're going to be very cautious. We're not going to mention who Mia is. If the judge required for her to be anonymous, that's what we're going to do. We respect rules over here. My channel. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. We don't always have to be first. We don't always have to, oh, I got the exclusive. No. People come over here for truth and for us to debunk things. So we're going to generally talk about what's been going on. I've been feeling a little bit better. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Yeah, so we're just going to do a general update. I have been doing my shorts for y'all. But yeah, I'm on the other side. So we're just going to keep everything light, but I'm going to go ahead and do my disclaimer because people are going to start flowing in. Thank goodness I have been doing my shorts, because if I didn't do my shorts, then I would be totally out of the algorithm. So, um, once you figure out the algorithm, then you feel better of knowing that when you do go live, you'll be able to you'll get some of the similar numbers. So, let's see. Let me just do my disclaimers. But I thank everyone for being here and tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. I appreciate you all for rocking with me, staying with me, being kind in the comments. We bring the TTT, we bring general updates, and we do what we can over here. Okay. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, I appreciate everyone for being here, being kind. Yeah, last week, like I had mentioned, some people are mad when people have faceless channels and they're doing well, and they're like, well, how dependable should they be? Well, pretty dependable. We've been here 2 years, and a lot of times you got to be careful with different cultures trying to shade you for doing a good job and having very similar numbers as they are, and they're mad and big mad. And then you find out you thought that they were a decent channel to listen to and be respectful. Um, that once a certain story broke out, you were gonna kind of, shout that channel out. But come to find out, they've been using your buzzwords for their own titles. So people will look at you from behind and try and shade you, and then come to really find out they kind of admire you from afar, and they're utilizing your titles. So it is what it is, but people need to be kind in the comments. I don't bother anybody, and I definitely don't do clickbait. I don't be bothered with all the YouTube stuff. I got too many things to do. So, but yeah, definitely be kind in the comments. We're going to do a general update on what's being talked about, what's being said. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate all of you for being here. I appreciate you guys. You're always so kind. Peace and blessings. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm gonna definitely enjoy my day for sure. So, yes, last week we had to get some things straight. So things are good. I'm doing so much better. I can breathe. Yeah, so we're going to get to what's been talked about. So, as people know, last week Mia testified, and her name and facial, what she does, was supposed to be anonymous. So, we're not even concerned about who Mia is. Somebody did take the stand last week. She gave her testimony of what she experienced working on the job. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mia talked about working on the job, being on the job, what was expected of her, the comments that were made to her, the concerning comments that were made to her. Um, and I will say, like we said 3 weeks ago, every person that's going to take that stand, they're going to be the ones that's made to feel like they're the ones in jail. Do you understand what I'm saying? We talked about that. I said, watch how Each person that takes the stand, how they're treated, disrespected, and it's like, well, why would you? And see, this is the one thing I need people to really get. Diddy had people working for him. So there were certain things he didn't do, he didn't touch. Other people did those things. So I can see people being kind to him to be not to be blackballed or be blacklisted. I can see people being kind, even though whatever is being alleged, a lot of people can't be wrong. But you figure, go back and think about if this was your boss saying these things, doing these things, making advancement. Think about this if this was your sister going into the workplace and a boss was treating her like XYZ. And like I said before, and I always say through every video, he's innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. A judge and jury is going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. It's not me for me. We're only giving our opinion on what has happened. But the biggest thing is, I would not want my mom, my sister, my aunt being in a situation which was uncomfortable, or somebody was allegedly putting hands on, or someone was unwelcomely touching. Do you understand what I'm saying? But have y'all noticed that some of these people are so busy they can't go to an emergency? They're actually working in certain situations. I think this is kind of like a learning lesson for some. If you're working a job and there's some concerning things happening, you literally have to put notes somewhere and send them to yourself or something. But it's like if your boss is that cuckoo for cocoa puffs and there he's going to be looking through your stuff, you got to send it somewhere. Because right now, as these people are taking the stand, if they would have had a spot where notes, okay, these are the concerning things that I had happen on the job for today, they would be able to present those things to the courts. Because right now, a lot of these people seem that this is accredited. And if they didn't feel that they go to the police or the hospital, you have to have notes somewhere. There's Blackberries, there's cell phones, there could be recordings, something. You got to have something to protect yourself. The best way to protect yourself is call the police. But a lot of these people were fearful to call the police, which we get. But if you have a job where there's concerns, you have to place notes somewhere. So that way, these notes could be actually be presented in court. Real talk. Because as I'm hearing different things, they're not going to those notes and saying, well, this is really how I was feeling. I understand what you're saying, but this is really how I was feeling. So be safe, everyone, when you go to a job and you're feeling concerned. So let's go ahead. We're going to get to some video in regards to what was happening in court, and we're going to talk about, what's been transpiring in regards to what's been happening in the courthouse. So let's get to the clip. I appreciate everyone for being here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, my voice is better too. I'm feeling so much better. So thanks everyone for being here. Um, yeah. I did do a video in regards to whether Trump will pardon him. Just like Trump said, him and Diddy were cool. Once Trump started getting more and more into politics, him and Diddy's relationship became estranged. So I'm not certain if he's going to pardon. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's up to the president, and he's been pardoning a lot of people lately. You guys can look at the list. I think many people he pardoned Julie Crisley and Todd Crisley. Savannah is extremely happy that her parents got pardoned, and if he pardons Diddy, that's gonna definitely be up to him. It's like, why go through all of this and not pardon prior to? Alleged, it's been said by Trump that he did not get any notification from Diddy's team to pardon him. I don't know if that's true or not. You know what I'm saying? But go back and look at a lot of the videos. Trump is saying that the reporter was the first one to ask if he's going to pardon him. He hasn't heard anybody ask him prior to that. But I don't know how true that is. But will he, won't he? I don't know. He said that, of course, the case is getting a lot of coverage, and he's not certain if that's something he needs to look at. That's something he'll look at. He'll look at it and see if he's been unfairly treated. So let's get to this clip. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for being here. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Just say good morning or say hello. It's going to be up to Trump if he pardons him. Note in the comments if you think that Trump will pardon Diddy. Let's get to the clip. Fair use reaction clip. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go.
Attorney Brian Steele, Eva, Mia simply said, yes, I was in an abusive relationship.
Dot, dot, dot.
She explained that she was traumatized and almost sounded like she was leading this double life, concealing what she testified happened to her in this toxic and traumatizing work experience, but also being a good corporate soldier and promoting Combs when required on social media.
Brian Steele, one of Sean Combs' attorneys, asked her a lot of questions about November 4th. What's the significance of that date?
That's Sean Combs' birthday. It's also the day that Mia testified she was first sexually assaulted by Sean Combs. She said it happened at the Plaza Hotel here in New York City when they were in the penthouse. She said Combs pulled her alone into the kitchen,
Canada.
put his hand up her dress and forcibly kissed her when she did not want him to. And so defense attorney Brian Steele then questioned why she would send Combs all of these birthday wishes. There would be these photo collages. There was even one handwritten happy 45th birthday, Puff Daddy, and a long handwritten note flattering Sean Combs for all that he had accomplished. And Steele kept coming back to, this was a date that stuck in your mind. And Mia resisted a bit. She said, I knew the date to be Sean Combs' birthday, but she didn't think about it as the date of her first sexual assault.
Prosecutors asked Mia today about the time she was suspended from her job for Sean Combs. Tell us about that.
Sean Combs suspended her on several occasions.
I don't know why it sounds like there's like basketball playing in the background. I don't know if it's him or if it's her, but for some odd reason, there sounds like there's basketball playing in the background. So just excuse the noise, but they're getting to the topics on what's happening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
She said, and often it occurred without explanation, and the only thing that she could think was that it happened after Combs was violent with her, or she witnessed violence and somehow reacted to it, either ran away or tried to hide. And she told the jury about some of these.
Please be kind in the comments. YouTube will block your comments. That's not even me. Just be kind in the comments or go somewhere else. We're talking about the case and we're giving our opinion. I haven't decided anything, nor am I a juror. So, like I said, he's innocent or proven guilty of court of law. A judge and jury is going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. Let's continue. Fair use reactions clip.
What she considered to be specious reasons for being suspended. And when she would try to reach out, it was almost as if she was getting an eye roll. She showed the jury some messages with D-Rock, one of Combs' bodyguards, after he said, what happened? And she said, Sean Combs just got mad about her not laying out the right workout clothes.
This is a federal case, and the president is able to issue pardons in federal cases. Could he issue one for Sean Combs if he's convicted?
Sure, he could. And in fact, he was asked about that today at the White House. And when he was pressed about it, he did not rule out a pardon for Sean Combs. Take a listen.
I would certainly look at the facts. I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking.
So
if you want to check out Trump's response about the pardon for Diddy, go check out my short. It's over there. Let's continue. Fair use.
Sean Combs is convicted here in federal court. It's possible he could.
Let me move forward past the noise.
The idea is to show that that Mia, in the same time as these allegations of sexual assault, as well as forced labor, and this very contentious and difficult working relationship, to say the least, that she had these very.
Let's get the likes up, you guys. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen. Thanks for being here, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for being here. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Positive messages from social media, from a scrapbook, from what she described as Sean Combs, as Aaron pointed out, the kind of unicorn, all those other words. But she also explained why she did it. She said she didn't want her family and friends to know the misery that she was in, that her social media were just the highlights of the very highs that she talked about, but the alleged abuse was a part of those very lows that she also talked about as well.
The cross of Mia got pretty tense. How do you think the defense handled that?
Yeah, so Brian Steele is the defense attorney who was cross-examining Mia. As we saw prior to Mia, where Cassie, the other female alleged victim, she was cross-examined by a female attorney instead. It's a little bit more contentious. Brian Steele is a former public defender like myself, turned into a now private defense attorney. He's pushing really hard of saying, okay, you were allegedly assaulted and abused here, and then you send out this message. How could you have this type of message and feeling to a person that did this? I think it's a very dangerous way to cross-examine someone because you don't know what response you're going to get. Don't forget about Dante Nash, who asked a very dangerous question as well, and he admitted on the stand that he did participate in crimes under the employment of Sean Combs. But so far, not a dangerous response from Mia, but definitely getting there. You can see some of the questions and responses here.
During the lunch break, this was an interesting moment. The defense team tried to bring in a new piece of evidence. The judge denied that. What happened?
So this is very interesting. They tried at the last minute to get in the social media video from 2013, where it appears that Mia was celebrating a party or a birthday of some sorts, and they're trying to show that her demeanor on the stand is very different from this video. But because of the
they were trying to show that Mia's demeanor is different than what's on the stand. Some of the people that were in the courtroom states that Mia's demeanor is very shy, very quiet, very soft spoken. So then they were trying to show in court, like a most recent video within the last 1, 2, 3 years, whatever, in regards to her demeanor then. So I think I get why they were doing it, because it's like, why are you acting so shy, quiet, but a year or two ago you're seeing outbursts, fun loving. So I get that, but they wouldn't allow certain things. Certain things have to be turned in at a certain time for this court hearing. The judge is not playing games. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Last-minute application to bring it in, as well as the nature of the video, they denied it. But a very interesting point that came up is they said they found out this video last night. They stumbled upon it, but also people on the internet emailed it to the defense team to try to show this juxtaposition of how Mia is presenting in the court as opposed to in some of this video.
Brian Buckmeyer, we'll have more with you in just a little bit. Thanks for being with us. Every person taking the stand in this case walks up and takes their seat in front of a packed courtroom. The jury, the gallery, the teams of lawyers, and of course, Sean Diddy Combs. Our next guest, someone who has spent decades working with witnesses. Judy Saunders is a former prosecutor. She's not involved in this case, but she now leads the sexual abuse and human trafficking team at a law firm here in New York City. Judy, thank you so much for being here with us. Let's get right into it. There's 4 alleged victims that are a part of this case. We've already seen some of them take the stand. How do you prepare someone to take the stand?
That's a good question.
It takes a lot of time.
That's a good question. Let's listen to what it takes and how you get prepared and how you get cross-examined. Thanks for being here, everyone. Continue to hit the like button. Just double tap that screen, please. Double tap that screen if you're watching from a phone or if you're watching from a tablet. Let's continue. Fair use. Or hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Let's continue.
Some of the key things that you're going to want to do is pull together, gather, and review any prior statements that that witness may have made.
Right.
You're also going to want to look very much into an individual's background, because what the defense has to do is they have to attack that individual's credibility. So you're going to want to look into their background. You're going to want to think about, were there prior social media posts? Today's age, we can expect that one witness that we all carry around in our pockets are our cell phones, our social media, and our digital footprint. Every witness that I'm preparing to testify, we know everything that we can about what they've placed out there on the internet and online. So those are just some of the things. And you're also, especially in these cases that involve sexual violence, sexual abuse, or sexual violence, you're going to want to prepare that witness for cross-examination, what it will feel like. They will feel attacked. You have to let them know that it's their time to answer directly. If they don't understand a question, you go over all of those things like that, what to say, and you want them just to convey their account of what happened in a way that the jury can understand. So those are just some of the ways that you prepare a witness.
We should note here that Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. But when someone makes an allegation like the ones that we have heard in this case, as a lawyer, how do you typically vet those claims?
It takes a lot of time. And we vet those, we analyze those cases. When someone comes in and they're making these allegations, as a lawyer, you are bound. You're ethically bound, morally bound to do your due diligence. So not only are you listening to the accounts, the allegations that a potential client is telling you about, you're also looking for whether there's corroborating evidence out there. You're looking for, depending on what they're saying, you're trying to think, is this individual, what they're materially telling you, is it staying consistent? And it may take more than one interview.
And as we're hearing, some of the people that's taking the stand, a lot of it sounds very, very similar. Very similar. I'm wondering if that's why Gina is MIA. Her story with Cassie might be very, very parallel. And they don't want that, because I had said RIP to Kim Porter. If Kim Porter was here, would Cassie and Kim Porter's situation be very similar? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
times when you have clients and they're alleging, different types of abuse, you may have to talk to them more than once. And when you're thinking about that, you're listening for consistencies and inconsistencies. But if you find that what they're saying is materially consistent, they may forget when it happened or dates or what have you. Those are the things that you're going to want to hear and listen to, and you know that there's some consistency and know that there may be a ring of truth to that.
This trial is in federal court, so there are no cameras. Do you think cameras make a big difference when it comes to witnesses taking the stand?
I know that it may not make that much of a difference. I know that as far as transparency, we're always wanting our court systems to be transparent to the public, to know what's going on in these proceedings. As far as a witness, just being in a courtroom itself can have a very intimidating factor. The addition of cameras, it could have an impact on how that individual is thinking and processing and listening, but it can be very intimidating to be there in front of a jury, in front of individuals in the gallery, in the audience, the judge is sitting next to you. That alone in and of itself is impactful. And so it's very likely that adding a camera could add another layer of stress to a witness.
Judy Saunders, thank you so much for joining us today.
That's correct. No means no. No person should feel that they can't go to a job and they're fearful of anything. No one should ever be fearful of their boss, of the employees, of their coworkers. Nobody should ever feel fear of anything. When you look at the scope of the job and what employees have stated or felt, Cassie was working with, but the girlfriend. Some of these assistants were working with, but alleged is being alleged that he wanted relations with them, and people had to say no, that shouldn't be happening at the workplace either. What is expected of employees to bring substances or give substances or clean rooms after, you know what I'm saying? So man, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want anybody I know in this type of alleged situation. It's concerning. Like the video, like the video. There's about 221 in the building. Please subscribe and please hit the like button, you guys. If you're watching from a phone, just double tap that screen. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
And given the sensitive nature of this week's testimony, we want to make sure you know what domestic resources are available. If you or someone you know needs to speak with someone, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline 24/7. That number is right there on your screen. Still ahead, our legal team digs deeper into the prosecution and defense's strategy behind Mia's testimony. And we take a look at the top 5 searches today related to the trial against Sean Combs.
How do y'all think that a lot of the people that's taking the stand are doing? Do y'all think they're doing a great job? Do y'all think Diddy's team is doing a great job cross-examining them and asking them different questions? Let's continue. Fair use reaction
Playing
clip.
the defense, and Bernarda Villalona playing prosecutor. Bernarda, we're going to start with you. Mia said that she is unable to hold a job since leaving her employment with Combs. Does that matter or factor in here?
So it depends if the jury believes her that the reason that she can't hold a job is because of the traumatic stress that she was put through while she was working for Combs. So in terms of when she was testifying during direct examination, I think the prosecution did an excellent job in a sense of presenting her as someone that is not a strong person, someone that is
This is the one I saw standing in line this morning for the courtroom.
sensitive, someone that is emotional, to the point, Eva, when she testified, she never made eye contact with the prosecutor. She was constantly just looking down. And you could clearly tell from her testimony during direct examination that she is a woman that is hurt, that has undergone some trauma. And she exhibited that to the extent that even during cross-examination, she even blurted out, like, look, I suffer from complex PTSD, even though it was objected and sustained to. But also she brought out that she's still seeing a therapist and trying to work through what she went through when she was working under Combs.
Okay, Ren, I have to ask, because they were all those social media posts in, do you think that was a good idea for the defense to show those social media posts?
Absolutely. I think the idea here is to contextualize this relationship. And they've done that with every witness, where they're showing that at the same time she's alleging these allegations of forced labor, sexual assault, rape. Days later, she's on social media talking very fondly of Sean Combs. And at one point in time, his birthday had come up, and she said, "What do you get the man who has everything?" And there's a scrapbook where she's cataloging his life, I think from 1991 to 1999. Now, Do I think we understand that someone could allegedly or actually go through these traumatic experiences, but then still go on social media and show a very pleasant and positive light? Absolutely. But I'm also conscious of the fact that half of this jury is 51 to 74. 5 of them are 67 to 74. And at least I know my 65-year-old father has a difficult time of understanding, what do you mean? What's depression? What do you mean therapy?
Yeah. But I think Mia was excellent in the sense of that she said, look, when the highs were high, the highs were high, when the lows were low. So social media was used to express the good times, not the bad times, at least back then, because social media has changed throughout the years. But also, I think she was excellent in the sense of that she was bringing up that, look, I didn't know what I was going through back then. But I will say, in terms of the defense is banking on that this jury forgot the testimony of the expert, of Dr. Hughes, who testified why people will still engage with their abuse.
Yeah, and then I think they're trying to have concerns in regards to the medical doctor having a say. Even though she was being a general, they want the Diddy's team want a lot of stuff thrown out. I don't know if y'all realize that. They definitely Diddy's team want to control this whole trial. And they're making a lot of objections, and that may be if they make an appeal at a later date. If they make an appeal at a later date, that might be the reason why they're objecting. That might be the reason why. And that might be the reason why they want a lot of stuff thrown out, because they don't want to show the emotional concerns of what people went through. They just want everything to seem like everything was okay. It couldn't have been okay. There's no way. There's no way. From what Cassie went through, allegedly, would I don't know where Gina's at. We can't confirm or deny if Gina went through anything. I know she had an interview, and from what Gina explained, it was very concerning. Let's continue. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. We got 16 likes, and we probably had about 5,000 people in the building. So please continue to hit the like button. It's just double tapping the screen. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Just double tap that screen. Let's continue. Clip.
And will act the way that doesn't seem normal to the regular eye.
But 2 things about that. One, the social media, again, go back to the age of the jurors. I don't think people who are, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just looking at my father and my mother. People in their 60s, they don't know or conceive that social media is just a glamorous highlight of yourself. They could potentially say, no, this is her life. This is real. And then also in terms of what was the second part that you said?
The Dr. Hughes testified explaining
she talked about domestic violence and domestic abuse. I'm not sure if the jury's going to make the connection between Mia and Sean Combs because they weren't in a domestic relationship. Could they separate that out and say, well, Dr. Hughes was talking about Cassie, not about Mia? And there might be wiggle room between that.
The defense really questioned too, like, was she traumatized?
Yes.
Are you worried as a defense attorney that could not actually play that well with the jury?
I think they put all their eggs in one basket when they went down this line of questioning, because their line of questioning is strictly social media posts. They're not really, they didn't attack head on anything that she said in terms of what happened that night, the night that she was raped, or her 22 hours, or any other of the violence that she witnessed that was put on Cassie.
So this is the other thing. If Mia was touched, we can't confirm or deny. He's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. A judge, jury is going to have to decide. But if a person that was on that plane, when Mia said no, 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 that next person will testify that they saw something or heard something. Have y'all noticed that people are there to testify and basically to flip on him? He's the only one that's basically standing trial by himself. They're trying to get his people to testify on what has happened over the last 15, 20, 30 years plus. They're trying to get his people to flip on him. Yes. That's why it seems as if he's standing trial alone. So whoever saw something or whatever Mia experienced, hopefully will take the stand, if not next a few times after, a few people after, because there's going to have to be people that's going to collaborate each person's story, period. Yes, I saw that. Yes, I saw her saying no. Yes, I saw her pushing him against, saying stop. Yes, I was on that plane. So that's the biggest thing, that not everybody could be wrong and lying. Let's continue. Continue to double tap the screen, you guys, and hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you. Fair use reaction clip.
They just went with social media posts that this is not the way you act if you were really assaulted.
Yeah, and I think they did that to the point that I think it begs the question, did it really happen? And that's what they're trying to beg the question of. If it was so good, did it really happen? And so they're trying to deny actual sexual assault without saying it.
All right, both of you. Always so good to have you here with us. Thank you.
And have y'all noticed a lot of people that experienced something bad still did something good? And as far as his birthday, creating this big journal or this thing that was shown in court that she did. What do you get a famous person? But were a lot of people doing things out of fear, or they doing a lot of nice things to say, I just don't want to be blacklisted? It's a concern. Like the video, press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in. Say good morning, say something. Good morning, everyone.
Coming up, who is D-Rock and how many years could Diddy face in prison if he's found guilty? We answer these questions and more after the break.
That's going to be interesting. Who is D-Rock and what does he play in regards to people stating, I call D-Rock. I had a meeting with D-Rock. I had concerns, so I talked with D-Rock. Have y'all noticed D-Rock name comes up a lot? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Hold on one second. Like the video as this commercial goes past. Like the video. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for being here. Yeah, say good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Let's continue. It's early.
Welcome back to Burden of Proof. The case against Diddy. Jurors in the Sean Combs trial are heading home for the weekend. Week 3 of testimony now done. While the courthouse is empty, online, the search engines are full of questions. That's where our segment Searched comes in. We're taking a closer look at the parts of the trial that you want to know more about. Let's bring in Kelly Carter, who covers entertainment for us. She's joining us this afternoon.
So we're just doing a general breakdown of what happened Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
From Los Angeles. Kelly, so good to have you. First up, everyone wants to know about Mia's testimony.
Yeah, I think people are looking for, once again, like where the stories align with what Cassie has previously testified to. And also if there's any new information. I think that people just want to know also who Mia is. She's testifying under a pseudonym, and I think people are trying to put the pieces together to see if she's someone that perhaps we've seen on a previous reality TV series with Sean Combs, or maybe we've seen her out and about somewhere, but people are certainly curious about her testimony.
Another question that we're seeing, who is D-Rock? Who is he?
D-Rock. So he goes way back. He actually is a childhood best friend of Notorious B.I.G., and once he got out of serving a prison sentence himself, he became Notorious B.I.G.'s security guard, head of security, and after Big passed away, he started working for Sean Combs in a similar capacity and continued to do so clearly up until his arrest for these recent charges.
Suge Knight, that's a name that just doesn't seem to be going away. A lot of people want to know about Suge Knight and Sean Combs.
It is never going away, right? I think people are just looking to see, is there any new information? Or I think probably more specifically, is Suge Knight saying something from behind the prison walls about this case and what he might say? Is it giving any insight about who Sean Combs was as a businessman, or what might he say that would be of interest for this particular trial?
The trial is still ongoing. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty. But if he's convicted, people want to know, how many years in prison could he get?
If he is convicted of all of these charges, he would serve a life sentence in prison. And I think people just want to know why the long sentencing, and they're trying to investigate and figure out a little bit more about what these charges actually are and why the severity of the sentencing could be just that, a life in prison.
The other thing we've heard people talking a lot about today is this idea of a potential pardon for Sean Combs.
Yeah, absolutely, because everyone is aware that at one point, President Trump and Sean Combs were friends. We've seen them publicly. We've seen images of them publicly. So is this something that he would step in
and with any celebrity, we got to remember Hollywood. A lot of people crossed paths back in the day. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Deliver a presidential pardon should he be found guilty on these charges. Obviously, all of that remains to be seen.
Are you seeing any responses to the idea of a pardon possibly happening?
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of people weigh in on social media about what that might mean and how they might feel about it. And I think mostly people just want the rest of this court case to play out. And then if it gets there, they're definitely curious to see what might happen from Washington. Like, would President Trump actually have something to say about this trial? And would he actually free Sean Combs if he were to be found guilty on these charges?
Brian Buckmeyer was explaining to us
Do you think Trump will pardon him if he is found guilty? Because right now, Diddy's team is doing a very decent job. Let's be very clear. In certain areas, Diddy's team is doing a great job. They are. As far as the cross-examine, trying to make other people look bad, they're doing a decent job. That's why he's paying them the big bucks. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Time ago that you can actually issue a pardon at any point after a crime is committed.
Yes.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Kelly Carter, thank you so much.
So do y'all think that he's going to pardon him? That's the big question. Should he be pardoned? Should this case even be moving forward? Fair use reaction clip. Let's get to the next clip. I appreciate everyone for being here. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. A lot of people are speaking up and speaking out, and let's see how many people that worked with close with Diddy that's going to have to continue to speak up. This trial's not over. It's going to go through till July, so let's continue.
Sashayed his way up onto the witness stand. Deontay Nash had the kind of joie de vivre and sass
Getting information from News Nation. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
that literally had that courtroom hooked from the moment he showed up. Apart from being right out of central casting, Nash hammered nails into Diddy's coffin today, one after the other, by testifying about things that line up squarely with racketeering. If you think the trial so far has been all about domestic abuse and not about the charges that Diddy's actually facing, like sex trafficking and racketeering, this stylist, Deontay Nash, his tour on the witness stand might just change your mind. Look, it is no secret that Diddy was violent, abhorrent, disgusting. We all saw what he did to Cassie on video. He admitted to it himself, but he's not charged with assault. And Deontay Nash testified about things that went way beyond violence and went straight to the heart of the prosecution's case: force, fraud, coercion. He told the jury that he actually witnessed Sean Combs regularly beating and threatening his girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and that he would threaten to release the sex tapes of her. That he would use those sex tapes to get her parents fired from their jobs. And that he, Diddy, as head of Bad Boy Records, would refuse to release her music if Cassie didn't do as he said all the time. If you're keeping score, that kind of behavior from a guy at the head of an enterprise could easily be seen as the jury as extortion, coercion, forced labor, all the elements, the racketeering charges that Diddy's fighting. Stylist also testified that on Cassie's 29th birthday, she confided in this stylist that she did not want to participate in Diddy's planned freak-off. After all, it was her birthday, not his. Maybe there were some freak-offs that she enjoyed, and maybe there were some that she did not, but felt she had no choice. For the record, forcing your employee, using your enterprise and your power at the top to have illegal sex with prostitutes that have crossed state lines, that's called sex trafficking, friends. It's called forced labor. And that is what Diddy is charged with in this trial. But this trial...
Morning, Paris. How are you, dear? Hello, hello. Good morning. Everyone say good morning to Paris. She's my only mod. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for being here. Double tap the screen, you guys, to hit the like and subscribe. Thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. I'm hanging in there, Paris. I'm feeling better every day. I had my highs and lows, but I'm hanging in there. Good morning, good morning. I'm here.
So many people asking the question, what exactly is RICO? Well, technically, RICO stands for Racketeer Influenced Corrupt Organization. And back in the 70s, the feds created it as a means to bring down the mob, like an umbrella charge that bunched all together a whole bunch of different crimes. And that is the same federal law that Diddy's facing now. My next two guests know this law maybe better than anyone, and know how hard it is to beat a federal RICO case, because they're both former mobsters jailed by the feds for RICO. Michael Francisi was a captain in New York's Colombo crime family. He served 8 years for racketeering and extortion. And Anthony Ruggiano Jr. is the son of a Gambino crime captain who was locked.
Yes, I feel much better, and my family is grateful that I'm looking better. And there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. I'm a very busy body. It was one situation that there was another situation we didn't even know about, but great doctors. And of course, my sense of humor, I'm up in there cracking jokes. I was up in there cracking jokes. You know me. Only a few though, because I just wasn't, but yeah, you know me. Silly, silly, silly. Making friends. Yep. Yeah, but I was kind of in and out. So I did most of my healing at home. So yeah. But yeah, I was in there cracking jokes. You know me, Paris.
Locked up 4 different times.
Fair use
robbery,
reaction clip.
Gambling, and yes, RICO. Michael and Anthony, welcome to both of you. And Michael, I said Francisi, and I think it's Francis, so I will correct myself before we even get started. Thank you both so much for being here. I have so many questions for you. Let me start with this, and I'm going to open it up to the both of you, but Michael, I'm going to get you to start. For a lot of people, RICO is all about the mob. It's all about what you see on The Sopranos. It's those kinds of crimes. It's not the stuff that they see on tape where Diddy's beating his girlfriend up. But I know that you guys have had a chance to kind of look into this case. You've heard what I just said in the opening of this case. So do you think that this is RICO, or are you scratching your heads?
Well, you're
Yeah, many people are wondering if the RICO will stick because there's certain people that's supposed to cover certain things regarding this trial. And since we're just not even scratching the surface, we still almost have a month to go, basically a full month to go, because if they're going till July 4th or near July 4th, a lot of people still need to testify. This is almost, we're gonna have 4 more weeks of testimony. Do you know how many people that is? Do you know how many people they have to fly in, fly out? They really have a lot of scheduling that they have to do with all these people testifying. It sounds like a lot, and it's a lot. I can't even imagine for the jury, you're not making no money. How are they still supposed to cover their house payments, their rent payments? I mean, for you to be a juror, you literally have to have a spouse that's going to hold you down in regards to paying these bills. Mortgage people don't care that you were on the jury. Your car loan people don't care if you're on a jury. You know what I'm saying? So this takes a lot. My goodness. Fair use reaction clip.
First of all, you can say my name either way, Francis or Francisi, so you're correct. But I will say, the RICO statute was definitely created, I think back in 1970, a fellow by the name of DeBakey created it specifically to go after the mob. No question about that. It's certainly evolved over the years because the government obviously can use a law in any way they see fit. They've gone after Wall Street people with it and a lot of other people. So they'll use it outside of the mob. What's a little bit confusing here is normally there is a criminal enterprise that's involved, a group of people. I had 3 racketeering indictments, 2 federal and 1 state. And in each case, it was the Francis family, the Francis group as part of an enterprise. And I had a lot of co-defendants. I didn't hear the government's opening statement on this to see how they tied this into a racketeering statute, because as far as I know, it's only Diddy on trial. He's on trial alone. So are they claiming that he is a one-man enterprise? That's what's kind of confusing to me.
Yeah, because he's not a one man enterprise. So that's what everyone's saying. Why is it that he's on this trial alone? And did all these people that worked for him, near him, by him, there's a name I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. Did all those people say immediately, I'll testify, I don't want to go to jail? Did they take a plea, or did they take, there's another word I want to say. Did they take a plea, or did they take there's a word I want to say that was the one that Keefe D did, but then he was telling himself a plea, or there's I'll think of it. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Because the charges against him can certainly stand alone. I don't think they need to be part of a racketeering indictment. But again, I'd have to know what the opening statement was and how they put that theory together that this could be under the RICO statute.
So you know what? I'll throw this in here, and Anthony, you could.
Yeah, a plea, immunity, but there was something else. A proffer agreement. There's a difference between a plea, immunity, and a proffer agreement. Immunity, I think everyone's saying, is better. The proffer agreement, you're just giving a statement that you're wanting to tell what's happened. But immunity is better. Everyone's saying allege. I'm not an attorney. It's not legal advice. But they're saying the immunity is better than signing a proffer agreement. Because if you end up going on an interview, you telling yourself you could go to jail. So I think immunity is better. So let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Jump in. From the way I see things, what the prosecutors have tried to determine was that here's Diddy at the top of Bad Boy Records and the enterprise that he's created, the big businesses that he's created. He's got employees that he has, he's paying as security. He's got employees like Cassie, who is supposed to be releasing music. He's got employees like assistants who he tells, you go and set up the free cops and you go and get my drugs. And, you grab Cassie and bring her to this vacant building and threaten her with a lie detector test. So I think what they're trying to say is that he used his business and he used his corporate card from Bad Boy Enterprises, and he used cash from the business plus assistants and employees to carry out a lot of the crimes that they're alleging one after the other, with these witnesses. So if I lay it out that way, Anthony.
Yeah, there was a worker that worked 5 days straight, and there was a worker that she was hooked up to a lie detector test. I don't know if Cassie was. I think there was somebody else. I think she's mixing those stories together. But we did talk about that person being on the lie detector test. For several days, they would let her go home and then come back, and they wanted her to tell the truth, and it went on for days and days. So what employees experience is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs of what we're hearing. The allegations are are kind of crazy. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before where you're watching from. Let's continue. Fair use.
What do you think? Do you think this lines up with the RICO that you know?
You know, I feel a lot like Michael. You know, I'm struggling with it too because
We wanted to get away and reconnect.
But see, they're not done.
What
They're
I
not.
didn't expect was
Hold
for it
on,
to
let
feel
me let
just
this
like the
commercial go
first night
past.
we met.
They're not done. I mean, there's more people that's gonna have to testify. They're so not done. I get it. I could get it. I could understand if this was last week was the last week. There's still so many more weeks to go. Mm. See, that's a good question too. Them being admissible in court. I think the bigger question was that she had to take it. They're trying to show that working for him is kind of scary. Being near him, by him, isn't a normal job. What you could go through working with him, being near him, by him, you could have some concerns. And they're trying to show him as an enterprise as a concern. You know, sleeping with, grabbing, alleged throwing things. What's being alleged of him being an alleged enterprise? That's the concern. But yeah, she had said that she had stated just then that Cassie took a lie detector. I don't think it was Cassie. So when somebody makes a comment, I just have to correct the comment that they're making. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
the enterprise and the people that worked for him were part of the conspiracy. So maybe they're unindicted co-conspirators and they got immunity because, like Michael said, on my indictment, it said the United States of America versus, and then there was 8 names. And we all conspired to commit crimes. Diddy's alone. Who did he conspire with? Did he conspire by himself? Did he extort people? Yes, he did. Did he kidnap people? He held them against his will? Yes, he did. He brought people across state lines, which is a federal offense. But to be a RICO just on him, I you know, it's hard for me to understand how that happens.
And were they lazy? Were they just following Diddy and they should have been following his people too? That's the biggest thing. Were they kind of lazy and not following these people that they felt worked for him? Should they be sitting beside him? Let's continue. I mean, that's a lot to learn, but the biggest thing is, how is it that he's sitting in there by himself? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Yeah, and I do think that, I mean, listen, we got weeks and weeks left of just the prosecutor's case, but already we've seen one of the assistants who said he got immunity. And my feeling is that his second in command, Christina Courtroom, either she's going to plead the fifth or she's going to have been offered immunity or use immunity for her testimony. I do think you're right. It's
Let's see what happens with KK. Fair use reaction clip.
kind of confusing without the conspirators, but my feeling is that right now, to get the testimony against the guy at the top, they may be offering them immunity. But like I said, we still have to find that out. I got this question for you, Michael. I opened the show by saying that I felt sad by sitting through a lot of today's testimony because this stylist, he just went over instance after instance of just vicious beating and control that Diddy had allegedly over.
Okay, so they want to talk about the stylist. So we want to get back to over the last few days. Of course, court opened early this morning. I did watch a video in regards to people standing outside, getting ready to go into the courtroom. There's only so many that's allowed actually in the courtroom, and then there's a bunch of overflow rooms. It seems as if it's kind of slowed down outside. There was a lot of people out there. Don't get me wrong. I would say the video I saw this morning, there was about a good 80 people outside. And if I'm not mistaken, there's about a number of 14 that can get in. And then there may be another 14 in regards to like reporters that's gotten badges or something. Let's go with this one real quick. Hold on one second. But yeah, the courthouse, there's definitely people out there. And then once they find out that certain celebrities are going to be there, it's going to get packed. Let's continue.
Enters a 4th week of testimony as we hear from Suge Knight, Combs' rap rival, whose name has come up often at the trial. Dan Abrams is standing by. We're going to talk to him after Chief Investigative Correspondent Eric Tursky gives us this report from the courthouse. Good morning, Eric.
And good morning to you, George. Long before federal prosecutors put Sean Combs on trial here, his chief hip-hop competitor told us that Combs was known in the industry for some of the very conduct that could now put him in prison.
Can't nobody hold me.
I did not hear who Mia is. Y'all know I've been in my own little film, doing my own little thing. I was Netflix chilling, boo, bay, people grabbing me meals, dinners. So I tuned into certain things, but then I kind of tuned out because I just wasn't feeling it. Because like I said, I was experiencing different things. But yeah, people have to be very careful trying to notify who Mia is. The federal court made it very clear that she's to stay anonymous. So I've been staying out of it in regards to that. But if people have given information, that's going to be a concern that they're going to have to deal with within the courts. I don't even want to look up what Mia, what Mia title was. If they say she's to be anonymous, I'm gonna keep it anonymous. You know, maybe because I'm just haven't been feeling good. Yeah, I haven't heard either way. People have been trying to do what the courts have been saying. But then there's some, there's always one or two that's saying, oh, I figured, no, I don't want to figure it out. I don't want to know. The course is saying she should be anonymous. She should be anonymous because this is the biggest thing. Her being anonymous then allows other people, hopefully, to speak up and speak out, and they could be anonymous as well. So, this is Good Morning America.
Suge Knight is speaking out from behind bars in California, telling ABC News Combs' sexual appetites were an open secret beginning in the 1990s.
Everybody knew that Puffy didn't just pop in the industry and say, hey, I want to have sex with everybody.
The rivalry.
Yeah, they doing too much with music. Come on. Hold on. Various reaction clip.
Kill me.
A lot of people might say, well, Capricorn could have did anything that she wanted to do. She did try. If you go get a job at Universal and probably make a phone call, you're not getting that job. If you go get a job at a talent agency or in movie business and not to make that call, your career is over.
Knight has come up during trial at least 50 times. Another former assistant, David James, testified he once spotted Knight at Mel's Diner in Los Angeles and was then forced to accompany Combs, who he said was armed, to confront him.
If there's anything then suggesting that I was doing anything illegal, I'm going to say, definitely not.
Knight, who spoke to us from a California prison where he's serving time for a fatal hit and run, express.
And that's the one biggest thing. If you go into that industry and you don't do what that boss say, you could literally be blacklisted. Because they're going to ask, well, what did you do for those 2 years? And if you don't have coverage of what you did, then if you're going to basically have to become out of that industry. Think about it, y'all. Think about it, Paris. Hollywood, Hollyweird. Hollywood, Hollyweird. They want to control and make you do what they do. When you think about it, some of these men or some of these women, they want you to conform to what they do. So there's more people that's out there doing what they do. So a lot of people feel that they're glad that Hollywood is being exposed. Something needs to happen. People should be able to be freely able to work in their craft, period. Let's continue. Various reaction clip.
Some sympathy for Combs.
I don't feel that they should take Puffy and lock him up and throw away the key. I think he can do so much good right now. Him telling the truth about the industry.
And despite their long-standing rivalry.
And a lot of people are like, it's sad that so many people have been affected by Hollywood, Hollyweird. They've been affected. In any shape or form you think about it, people have been affected by choosing to work in the industry. And if you did not do what that boss said, then your career could be affected and you could be blacklisted. Ooh, heck no. Nope. Certain stuff I stay away from. Okay, you guys, I definitely just wanted to go live, give a general update. I'm still recovering, but I have to stay within this algorithm of my live. Even though I've been doing shorts, my shorts have even been short. I was doing almost, 8 shorts within a day, maybe, and I went to like 2 or 3. It's like, okay. So, yeah. But I definitely wanted to go live, give you guys some general information, what the racketeering is. There's going to be more that's going to come up, Mondays, Tuesdays are a busy day. We're going to find out who's taking the stand, if Mia's still on the stand or if it's somebody else on the stand. Like I said, Mia had security with her, so you wouldn't really know which one is Mia. And that was to secure her to be in the courtroom, take her back to her hotel. So whoever this person is, if the court says she should be able to be anonymous, she should be able to be anonymous. So we'll cover. We just did a general update on Thursday, Friday, and just what people's feelings are about, will Trump pardon Diddy? We'll see what happens. Trump spoke about it this weekend. We'll see what happens if he is alleged convicted. I think for Diddy alleged, he probably feels good that if he is, because think about it, prior to this week, Diddy was like, okay, if this happens, this happens. But now he may feel like he has a little hope if Trump pardons him. So we'll see what happens regarding that. But I thank everyone. Yeah, I'm a very busy person, and that's the problem that I kind of need to, but a lot of stuff I was able to delegate. It's like, wow, you do a lot. Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's all good. Everybody has, their highs and lows, and I'm not so busy that I caused it. No, stuff was going to happen regardless. I was thinking it was something, and it was something, and then it was something else onto something. So I'm kind of glad I went in, so we figured out both issues to address it. So you know, yeah. And I really wasn't eating either. I wasn't eating. I was just like, what the heck? So I'm eating now, drinking plenty of water. So God is good. So I'm hanging in there. But yeah, I just wanted to go live. I'm glad I was able to do 50 something minutes. So let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. And I'm not the only one. My family members are silly too. My family members are silly too. That's just us. Let's see. Yes, take care of yourself. You need. Yeah. I'm eating now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you always. I'm silly still, but yeah. Uh, I'm good though. I'm good now. Yeah, you guys, we'll do a general update. I've been trying to update you guys on what people are thinking and feeling. It's easy for people to just give their opinions, but when the news covers it, that's why we talk about what the news is saying, because they're going to give us a general breakdown. I don't need to sit here 6 hours. Thank goodness I wasn't doing that, because I wouldn't have been able to do I wouldn't be able to do a 6 hours. For me, it's an hour, hour and a half, maybe two. But back in the day, it was the 5 hours because my channel was growing. So yeah, I'm grateful that I did this the way I did it. So, because I wouldn't have been able to do 5 hours, 6 hours. Mm-mm. Transcripts, girl, you got me mixed up. Boy, you got me mixed up. What? But anyway, y'all know I'm silly. I'm still silly. I'm over here. I'm healing. I'm doing well. Things are good. I don't think I'll go live again tonight, but maybe if something breaks. RIP to Rihanna's father. He passed away. I'm not certain if they're saying how or why Rihanna's father passed away. He was 70 though. But Rihanna's father passed away over the weekend. There's some things that's going on in regards to a lawsuit. Did y'all see that? In regards to one of Rock Nation's CEO? That's interesting. The Tory Lane stuff is very interesting. Check out my shorts. I did do the shorts in regards to the recordings and the audios of what Megan said, what Tory said. More so Megan. There's recordings that's out there of them being pulled over and the audio of the police recording. So that's interesting. Some of those that I didn't hear back in the day covering the story, but we're hearing Meg say glass, hurt my foot on glass, in the emergency room, mask on the face, um, and they're still talking about glass. So that's interesting. But the allegations in regards to the girls going at it, in regards to something that's being presented, so that's going to have to play out. And will Trump pardon Tory Lanez? Did Tory Lanez not speak up to cover up for them? Man, you got to be careful the parties you go to. You know what I'm saying? Hmm. I wish Tory would have drove himself home, and the girl should have went back with the whoever they came with. Baby, they were intoxicated. Tory's life is forever changed. He's sitting in jail. Kelsey's life is forever changed. Megan's life is forever changed. Kelsey pled the fifth, but let's see what happens, how that unfolds. Who Trump will pardon next? Um, who's hoping to be pardoned? Yeah, okay, everybody. All right, yep, I'm feeling it. Um, let's see what else is going on. Not certain if I'll go live again tonight, but if I do, I'll go live because something was breaking or something was interesting. I kind of gathered the information, then I bring it to you guys. But yeah, well wishes to Mia. She broke down how she felt. She broke down why she did what she did, why she posted what she posted. Um, did people feel like they have to be kind so they're not blacklisted out of the industry, that they felt that their careers would be boosted and that's their passion? So we're hearing that a lot of people got fired then went back, and we're hearing also that some of the people had lawsuits against him and then came back sometimes. Alleged settlements, there were settlements outside of, so we're hearing that too. So, yeah, toxic environment, toxic relationships, period. That's all I could say. It just seemed very toxic. I wouldn't want my sister going through what Cassie went through. No. I wouldn't want my mother going through what Cassie went through. No. I wouldn't want my aunt going through what Cassie went through. No. I wouldn't want, a guy relative to go through what we're hearing. It's just concerning. Yes, very evil. It's just concerning. And then some guys are like, oh, it ain't that bad. Dude, you would not want your sister or your mama or your niece going through that at all, period. And that's what just grosses me out. Some of my favorites I can't listen to right now. It's like, what is wrong with you? How are you not hearing what we're hearing? You would be okay with your mama working for him. You'd be okay with your mama dating him. You'd be okay with your sister or your niece dating him, being him, working for him. No, y'all wouldn't. And that's what I can't get with. That's why I think my page is a little different. And I talk the way I talk, probably from where I'm at, where I live. We come straight forward. Stop playing games. You can't play stupid with people. People really hear what's going on, and it's a lot. Who saw stuff and just did not do anything? How is that possible? If some people don't testify, let's get to the celebrities. What did the celebrities know? What did the celebrities see? Come on. Certain celebrities had to see him talking to Cassie crazy. So even the celebrities must have been scared to speak up and testify. And it's like, did he say, have y'all heard people say, and well, they did last week. The one woman felt that she couldn't tell him no. She couldn't even tell him no about a sandwich. I did catch that. But man, if you grab me, take advantage, you don't go to emergency to have a kit done. Got to have a kit done. Got to have some kind of report. But basically saying it would affect my life and it could have affected their family lives. Yeah, so scared. Yeah, so scared. The fear of, that's crazy. But you know what? There's probably people that's going through stuff right now, and those bosses are kind of fearful. There's people that's going through some crazy stuff right now on the job. You couldn't get me. You gonna talk crazy, act crazy, deuces. Nope, won't use you as a referral. I see something cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm out day one, day two. I'll be out on lunch, and I won't go back. See something in the eyes, talk crazy, grab me. Nope. Nah. None of my girls could. We could, But we're not in Hollywood either. It's just a lot. Hollywood, Hollyweird. And this is just not, the music industry. People are dealing with this in, making movies, you know? And then we hear that the music industry can bring so much joy to the community, but what those people have to experience and their masters and people are no longer with us. Some of big names are no longer with us. The Whitney stuff is concerning in itself, how they had an event and they acting like everything's cool when she not here no more above stairs. What? Why didn't they clear the room? Why was the event even still going on? Like nothing was so, you know what I'm saying? No, the event just shut down. We're not having no event. We're about to question everybody. The the industry is weird. I'm sorry, y'all. The industry's interesting. Paris, remember how we were talking about the church thing and you was like, girl, don't do it. Don't spill on those beans. Cause I can hear it in your voice. You know a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And you gotta protect yourself, whether that's to record, keep notes, have a friend on, because I think certain things you can't record. So you got to have somebody on the phone with you. Have them record it, something, or have somebody on the phone with you so they can witness what's happening. We just got to figure out ways to protect people. And all of us have been through something. It's like this kind of feels weird. And I will be the first one to call somebody, record it. Yes, I will. You ain't going to get me caught up. I got people to take care of me that love me. Everybody's been through a weird kind of, you know what I'm saying? Get somebody on the phone to help you. Let's see. Yeah, that quote Whitney stuff. Y'all, how you still gonna let the event go on? What? Where they do that at? Come on. Anywhere else, any other situation? No, the event is shut down. We're gonna question everyone. You're not gonna be partying. What? That in itself show you that whole situation was weird. Her passing the note to Brandy. What's in that note? I don't even think anybody's even said, and the police got notification of what was in it. Yes, this is what was passed. And then remember how she went to talk to Brandy and she was wet, and they was like, "What you know what I'm saying?" And that's the biggest thing. Where was her security? Who was in the room? There has to be video of people going in and out of her room. That I'm telling y'all, I see stuff different. It ain't. I don't do the third whatever. I don't do none of that weird stuff. I'm just common sense type stuff. But Hollywood is very concerning. The things that these celebrities will do for attention is concerning, and we're going to keep seeing things be weird. Celebrities acting weird. Celebrities moving out the country. Celebrities seeking media attention. Ray J, I could not even, I couldn't even, I could not even. I wasn't feeling good. I couldn't fool with Ray J. Paris, I tried to gather that information. I can't fool with that boy. Something's not right. I'm hearing different stuff. I'm gonna have to get into what Ray J's saying, but something is not right. And then Kanye sticking up for who? What? Mm-mm. All right, y'all. Now it's been an hour. I appreciate y'all. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. We say it all the time. We've been saying it for a year. And I'm grateful that certain stuff has come to me to tell y'all. Because maybe my voice telling y'all be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Maybe if there is an uncomfortable situation, you leaving because my show is telling you to leave. Maybe I don't know who I'm helping or blessing. But yeah, my kindness has been taken for weakness, for sure. And I've had to leave people where they at. Mm-mm. Your bad luck can't rub up on me because I constantly get blessed. I'm telling y'all, I be getting blessed. I don't know if it's my smile, it's my personality. People love blessing me, and I'll take it. I'll take that blessing for today. I'll take that blessing for today. I'll take that blessing for today. Yeah. But that was one thing too. One of my friends say, I love when you sing me just weird songs just to brighten my spirit. So yeah, everyone be kind, be respectful. I'll gather more information. I just wanted to update y'all on Thursday, Friday. Prayers go out to Mia. Prayers go out to Capricorn Clark. Prayers go out to Cassie. It's being reported that Cassie did have the baby. She did have the baby. So congratulations to Cassie and Alex. She did have the baby. So, man, what timing! She was off the stand for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later, Cassie had the baby. But I don't know how Alex is doing that. Sometimes men don't even like hearing that you dated somebody else or was with somebody else. Alex literally had to sit there and hear what Cassie and Diddy was going through, and then she bounced around between her and Diddler. So yeah, that whole situation. Who Cassie girl, and hopefully this is helping young girls that's going into the industry. And be careful of those contracts too. Be careful of the contracts. Sometimes we hear these industry people sign a bad contract and they can't get out. Maybe it should just be a year. And then if things are going well, then you sign another one. But man, like the video, like the video. Please subscribe to the page. I appreciate you all. Still recovering. I'll be back at it strongly, hopefully by Monday, next Monday. Yeah, but I'm taking it slow. There's still a lot. I got stuff to do today after I even get off the phone. To direct, not to do, to direct. So yeah. But everyone, be kind, be respectful. I appreciate you, Paris, always for tuning in, for being with us. I had debated whether or not, but then there was stuff that I was like, I don't even want to hear that. So let me go live, give some people to drop some tea. So thanks for being here, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. We did hit 37K. Appreciate y'all. Be blessed. Goodbye. Be blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye, Paris. Appreciate you always. Goodbye, everyone.